stop over there?
If you like the freedom of customization that 3D printing offers, you're probably going to want to see this. Today we're going to color outside the lines a little bit and look at a vinyl cutter. Just hang with me. I think you're going to find this pretty cool because we found it pretty cool. So as 3D print dudes, we find it natural we want to customize everything around us. We want to use our machines to solve problems around the house. We want to use our skills to personalize our property using our plastic production stuff. But the plastic pieces, they only go so far. So what's a great lateral option if you still want to create custom one-off stuff? This vinyl cutter is that option. Thanks for asking. Luckily, VEVOR sent us over this vinyl cutter so we could open it up and review it and let you guys know if we thought it was any good or if it was a piece of garbage. And if you want to know more, you can check out the link below where you can find out all the information you need to know. So today we're going to unbox it, we're going to show you what the setup process is like, we'll kind of see how it works, and finally, cut out some stickers, like custom stickers that we make. Prepare to see a bunch of stickers all around the studio now.
Loading in a cannon. Does it even say anything on that side?
It says VEVOR.
Ah, perfect.
I know.
I did not believe that. I saw this side. I'm like, oh.
Always big boxes.
This is huge.
Always with the big boxes. Let's get started with the box. Like we typically see in this room and in all of our reviews, it's a reasonably large sized box. And Corey is a reasonably small sized person. So we make him carry it in. Now when we cut into the box, you see why it's so big. Not only did we uncover this cool vinyl cutter, but it also came with like a bunch of vinyl, different colors, different types, big long sheets of it. Additionally, the machine has a stand that it sits on, and that was packed in the box as well. Now the stand holds the machine up, but it also has rollers where you can put your rolls of vinyl on, and that allows it to feed into the machine freely without any obstructions. Now inside the box we do find some instructions, which is good because we don't know anything, and some accessories related to getting this thing going. And I promise you're gonna see, we really do not know anything about these machines. So instructions are gonna be helpful.
I don't know how. Is there a stop over there?
But with any luck, this thing's gonna be simple to set up and we'll have some stickers cut out in no time. I can feel it. The assembly process, luckily, was pretty straightforward on this machine. We weren't planning to use the stand at first because we were just going to put it on the bench for now. So beyond that, there isn't very much assembly required to get the thing up and running successfully. The only real piece that required any attention was the blade that actually cuts into the vinyl. It slips into its little carrier here and then it clamps into the machine's tool head from there. Now the blade height is very important and it's determined by adjusting these two collars inside of the carrier. Now the instructions tell you this blade depth needs to be like 1/64 of an inch or 0.3 millimeters or something like that. And getting that measurement correct, as I understand it, is a pretty big deal. So we just kind of eyeballed it because what's the worst that could happen, really? Alright, so what do we... Okay. Is that how this does? That cutter though, that's basically where all the magic happens. It swivels around inside of its little carrier there, and as the tool head moves back and forth across the vinyl, feeding the sheet in and out, the blade just kind of follows the path. So combining all these movements, the tool head moving the cutter back and forth, the rollers feeding the sheet of vinyl in and out, and your blade being set up correctly, this is how we can cut out precise stickers to slap all over the room.
Okay, we're just full sending it.
Corey, this is a cool hoodie you have, by the way.
On the outside?
I like that hoodie. Yeah. It's a cool guitar and froth. All artsy and things.
Everything.
Pretty odd.
When our powers combine, we create the base of a stand.
Oh, yeah.
I can't stand it.
Alright, there you go.
You just drain all the battery.
Making it do.
Oh, yours is on backwards. We need those 3 holes on the outside, I think.
I think you're right.
So once it came time to finally feed in some vinyl to the machine, we decided it's probably best that we assemble the stand. That way the roll had a good place to feed from. So with that stand thrown together, we could power the machine on. Uh-huh. With the machine turned on, we set off on our first cut. This is where we found out that we were wildly out of our depth. the blade depth was wrong, so that's why I said we were wildly out of our depth, because it was a pun. But the blade depth was so wrong that we actually had to take the thing off and reset it completely. Now with a more confident measurement taken and a little bit more time put into setting the depth, we put it back on the machine so we could give it another go.
This is similar.
So that didn't work, but we felt like the blade depth wasn't the problem anymore. We pushed some buttons on the machine to see if we could investigate a little bit further. So in order to tell the machine where you want it to cut, the user selects the offline button and manually moves the tool head to the portion of the vinyl that you want to perform your cut at. After that, you can push the origin button, and that basically tells the machine where home is. So you're setting the home effectively. Now we knew about that, but we hadn't messed with any of the other settings beyond kind of the speed, because we figured if we slowed it down, maybe we'd have a little bit better luck actually getting a reliable cut. And after some Googling and YouTubing, we found out that in the speed menu, you could arrow over to the pressure setting. And by using some recommended values we found on the internet, we decided 200 millimeters a second was an acceptable speed to start with, and about 100 grams of pressure was going to get us much better results than anything that we were seeing.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I didn't have a little goot. Yeah, look at that.
Get out. Always go straight down with it. A little bit of time. I had it at, the one that barely went through was 100. The one before that was 150. Just now it was 140. I'm thinking 120?
Yeah.
These settings seem to provide a pretty good balance between not bunching the material up, cutting the vinyl well, and performing the cuts with clean line. And finally, after plenty of failures, we're left with this chicken. This was our first successful sticker, and it turned out good enough. The lines were reasonably accurate, the corners were reasonably crisp, and it stuck to Paul.
This is.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, don't touch it. That's what you get. That's our first successful cut. It actually looks like it's supposed to, I feel like. Now the vinyl cutter comes with software, which is so much nicer than trying to download software online, because you just never know what you're gonna get. Ultimately, this leads to a much better user experience, and I feel like this is how it should be. Or at least there should be the option. There's no need to worry about going to the site and downloading the software that's more updated than maybe your machine is, for example. You simply open the box, the machine and the software are paired together so you know it's going to work, and we're ready to set off. You like that? Now I know there's probably better softwares to be using, and if I was Mr. Vinyl Cutter Guy, maybe I'd have a preference. But for a beginner exploring the space, using the software that the machine ships with, perfectly acceptable. I think that's great. Now Corey did a lot of the computer portion of this review, and he's got a little bit of experience using a Cricut as well, which is kind of in the same realm as this vinyl cutter. So we put him in charge of the ones and twos, so to speak. I guess I kind of lied when I said none of us have any idea what we're doing when it comes to vinyl cutters. Who am I kidding? We still don't have a clue between the three of us. But Corey was able to get us up and running here. The program was fairly straightforward, even though when you look at it, it looks kind of daunting. Oh, also no support for Mac, so we had to break out Corey's computer from 1903. She's still kicking though, and she served us super well as we figured out how to get this puppy running. So, armed with all of this knowledge, we were able to dive a little bit deeper into the world of vinyl cutting. Our settings were set, so we went out and tried to do something that was a little bit more complex, something that required a little bit more intricacy. Really, we were overconfident for no reason. We wasted like 4 foot of material bunching up and ripping through some vinyl before we finally got one 2-inch little tiny chicken sticker. But Corey loaded up the Kyo logo and we set that one off to cut out a sticker. And to our surprise, the thing actually came out all right. Like first try. The lines were crisp again and none of the corners bunched up. And it was crazy that this actually yielded some usable stickers, because everything we had done up until this point that evening had not gone well. But all those failures led us to a lot of good lessons. One thing that we learned was we needed to make sure the material was fully flat, had no bubbles in it at all. So in the case of this red roll that we had loaded up initially, there were some wrinkles in it. We learned that if that happens, we need to use the provided squeegees and squeegee those wrinkles out. Otherwise, that's going to lead to the tool head getting caught on a bubble, and then you're going to have a bad time. But the other important thing that we learned about squeegeeing out these wrinkles is you need to make sure you squeegee it towards the bottom. Not pulling it to the side, squeegee it out to the bottom. Because if you try and take it another way, the material is going to crease, and again, you're going to have a bad time. But each time we ran another cut, we were able to learn a little bit more about vinyl cutting. We were able to dial the machine in a little bit more, and it seemed to respond well to our dialing. So overall, I have to say I'm pretty impressed with this vinyl cutter. I had pretty low expectations and I figured it was going to be an uphill battle because I didn't have any experience with a machine like this at all.
Where do you want it?
Sort of top middle. Yep, that'll do.
Okay, I guess that's where the transfer paper said. Very good. Scary noises.
Yeah, dude.
It's so simple, yet it's so pretty.
Luckily, I was able to find a well-rounded, fairly polished, user-friendly machine that got me into the world. Otherwise, I never would have gotten into the world of vinyl cutting. I'd have no reason to.
I'm not vinyl guy, Corey's vinyl guy. Corey's Unbox guy, Corey's vinyl guy. Alright, yep, from the middle. Nope. No, there you go.
Kind of worked.
That's the way.
Look at it. Look at it go.
Oh, that looks so good. Do you want to do the honors?
This is where it's going to go.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't even squeegee it that hard, and it's sticking pretty well.
See all our cracks.
Yeah, dude. Sick. The assembly of the machine went well. It felt like it was a quality item. That said, it is still a tinkerer's machine. It didn't take us very long to get some successful cuts going, but you do need to bring your patience because there's a lot of settings and a lot of fiddling that you can do to really dial this thing in. So talking about setting that blade depth correctly and locking that down, fiddling with the speed settings, and then of course the pressure settings as well. There's certainly a learning curve. Now, having no other experience with any other machines like this, I can't say if this is a good example of it or a bad example of it, but what I can tell you is the experience that I've had using it. And I'm confident to say that this is a fairly approachable machine. And I'm glad we got to give it a shot because it's pretty cool. Something as simple as being able to cut your own stickers inside of your makerspace is actually pretty handy. Whether you're labeling drawers or trying to brand your machine, I'm sure you could find a use for it, or maybe you can't find a use for it. I don't know. So check the link below if you are interested in it, and if you have experience with these kinds of machines, let me know in the comments. I think we're going to keep playing with this one, of course, but it'd be cool to have some level of comparison available, so if you have experience with another machine, let us know what you think of that one. Thanks again to VEVOR for sending this one over for us to check out. Bye!